One, hey, two, hey, one, hey, two, hey, three, hey, four, hey, ho, hey, ho, hey, ho, hey, ho. Everybody get up. Ho, hey, ho, hey, ho, hey, ho. Everybody get up. Everybody get up.
What's up, Miss LaDios?
What's up, Rav'n?
I'm very happy to be here with you, recording another episode of Actors
From the Dark Side.
What are we going to be talking about today, Miss LaDios?
Well, today is about commitments and dedication
Woo!
as an actor in the business.
Yeah.
How committed are you? How dedicated are you?
Mm.
What will you do? What is the distance? But before we start that, please like, share, and subscribe.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Dark Side family, for sliding through.
Thank you so much. Yes, and this is such an important topic for actors. Commitments and dedication are so huge in our industry. LaDios, what are some of the things that you've come across in terms of commitments and dedication?
Man, being committed and dedicated, it's like you have to choose, like, how bad do you want it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
For instance, you worked a 9-hour shift, and then you got lines to memorize, and you're like, okay, what am I going to do? Am I going to go watch TV? Am I going to go to the gym?
Right.
Am I going to even eat?
Right. Absolutely.
Am I going to go hang out with my friends?
Yes,
you know what I'm
absolutely.
saying? You know how that is.
Yeah.
And then it's like a struggle with the work-life balance. It's such a struggle. And there could be some mishaps.
Absolutely.
When you're trying to be committed. There's times when I went to go hang out and I know I had to be off book for something, and I spent 2 or 3 hours and going to bed like 4 or 5 in the morning because I had to memorize the script.
Mm-hmm.
But it's like, how much are you willing to give up to pursue your dream and your goals?
Sure. Yeah, I remember one of my very first roles that I got cast in, and this was one where I really learned the importance of commitment and dedication, because this was a really big role that I was really coveting. It was a really reputable theater company, and it was interesting because both me and the other gentleman that got kind of cast as leads, I got demoted basically from a lead role, and the reason why is because I went to my director with a whole list of other commitments that I wanted to do after getting cast, which is a huge no-no. You get a chance at the audition to list your conflicts, and they will work around your schedule if you do so. You don't get to do that after the fact. So I went off and said, yeah, I'll do another project, and asked if I could get some extra time off, which basically got me a huge demerit and basically, like I said, a demotion. I had a really choice role that I didn't get to play. And at the same token, there was another person who was like a yogi master, super beautiful individual, but he didn't even show up first rehearsal. Didn't show up, no call, no show. And I thought to myself, this goes back to what I told you countless times, trying to do acting when I was in my 20s. I probably wouldn't have been able to do it because I just didn't have the mindset or the heart or the dedication to show up and say what you're going to do and do it, right? That's so much of this industry, is being reliable and being someone that if they cast you, they know that they can count on you. Because now that I look back in that experience, I'm like, God, how sad for that production company to even have to go through that. And now I really understand the importance of when I sign up, I'm signing up and coming through.
One of my mishaps, with my dedication and commitments was I probably underestimated how fast I can memorize scripts and dealing with veterans, especially in theater. And I remember coming the first day of rehearsal, and I remember getting notes like, hey, they wanted you to be as off book as possible. And I was like, oh yeah, right. Nobody's gonna be off book. Everybody was off book, but LaDios.
It ain't that like, oh my God, that's like...
That was one time that I was like, oh okay, I'm never gonna let that happen again. That was so embarrassing, and it stepped my game up. But it's true. People show you how committed and dedicated they are to the business. You know.
Yes, I've had that happen to me in classes, like walking into a seed study, and 3 or 4 of the students in class are off book, and I'm like, okay, you guys want this? I'm like, okay, I need to step my game up because they're taking it seriously. But, you know, at the end of the day, we are in a profession where you have to put your best foot forward all the time. And that doesn't matter if it's going out to just get groceries or whatever. You still have to be kind of on because you don't know who's going to see you. You don't know if you're going to run into a casting agent. You don't know if it's a director. You just don't know. So you learn that you need to kind of be at your best at all times because it is competitive. And if you can show yourself in your best light when you're off, that's going to stick out in somebody's mind, and it might lead to some amazing opportunity down the road.
Yeah.
So, yeah, you know.
That's interesting you said about professionalism because one thing is to always carry like your headshot or your business card. I've had directors like, you got a business card? I'm like, oh, I got a headshot, but they may not want a headshot at the time.
Yeah.
So, you know, having all of your social media updated and current, your websites, that's all a part of your dedication and commitment to this industry, you know, because there's going to be some last minute things that'll happen, like auditions.
Yes. Yes.
You ever had those last minute auditions?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah, where it's like, okay, here's 3 pages, get it in tomorrow, and you need to be off book, you need to have that memorized. So yeah, holy crap, what do you do? All right?
You know, and it's so funny because I asked my acting coach, I was like, why would casting directors ask you to memorize 6 pages in 24 hours? And her response was, they don't care.
Yeah.
They don't care because they want to see how fast you can memorize stuff.
Yeah.
And a quick turnaround and see if you can carry that lengthy role of being a lead or supporting role. And I'm like, so once I set my mindset, I was like, okay, thank you and bless me with more. Thank you and bless me with more. Thank you and bless me with more.
That's right.
And it can be stressful, but I'm looking at the light at the end of the tunnel. You know, not that I'm stressed now having to memorize all these scripts. Like, what am I going to gain from it? I'm going to keep getting invited for more and more auditions. But
absolutely.
Yeah, those do happen. And it's just, again, that's another test on your dedication and commitment to this industry.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Real. Yeah, because again, there might be 1,000 people going for that same part. And what's going to weed you out are the people that are on it and know their material versus the people that are stumbling and having issues. So yeah, you know, that's the high pressure and high stakes that we deal with at a regular kind of basis. Now, one of the things that's been a struggle for me is probably juggling family and career when it comes to commitment and dedication. You have children that are a little bit older, so can you speak to that a little bit in terms of, you know, how it was for you juggling your family and career while chasing your dreams? Because it's definitely
when they were younger or when they're
huge struggle for me. I'd say younger, because I'm at that point where my kids are teenagers, so we're competing. They have their set activities and things like that are important that they need to get to, and then I have my stuff that I need to do and everything else. So yeah, that's a huge struggle. So
that is a struggle. So when my children were younger, I did a lot more theater and local stuff that didn't require me to travel.
Sure.
So that's how I would balance it out. So if I had to do something local, like a commercial or whatever on the shoot, it would be like while they were in school or whatnot. And 9 times out of 10, my children came to the plays that I was in or whatever. But I'm really good at balancing work-life balance. I mean, that's just never been it's never been a major issue for me, but I've always been a very strategic, strict, disciplined, by the book. Like I live and die by my calendar to this day. Like it's like boom, 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 boom for me. So I'm super organized. It can be a little taxing, where I may like not to get a chance to hang out with some of my friends. Right. But with family, I will make time. I've always made time. I'm family comes first, no matter what, for me. Sure. Family comes first. So absolutely. I'm always going to make time, even if I have to sacrifice and stay up in the middle of the night 2 or 3 in the morning memorizing lines, just so I can go spend like some quality time with my family. But that's kind of how I did it.
Definitely.
You know, and it was a little bit more tougher, especially when they have basketball practice and stuff. You just kind of,
Yeah.
you know, find a way to fit in where you get in.
Sure. Yeah, that's definitely one of my struggles. That's where I'm at right now. And it's not too much of a struggle because I do have a supportive ex-husband who is there and helps with the kids immensely. So it's not like I don't have support, and it's not like I can't get things done, but I do find that that's the very hard struggle being an actor is juggling family and friends and career because they're all coming at you at such a high pace, especially at this pivotal point in life, the wonderful Middle Ages.
They're the best. I mean, and then, you know, like my daughter used to help me with my lines, especially when we were in theater. I would be like, help me with my lines. And she would, you know, she was like a stickler. Mom, that's the wrong word.
Yes,
so I always had that option too.
That is
you know, to like kind of bring them into it. You know, sometimes I would have them audition for roles if they needed a kids just so they could be a part of the journey a little bit and not feel like they're, you know, I'm neglecting them or anything. But they were always my priority. I always made that, which is why I'm hitting the ground running such at a later age, because I wanted to make sure they got what their needs met prior to mine.
Sure. Talk about some of your struggles with like overcommitting yourself, because I think this like lends right to that. Because there are times when I'm doing this and this and this, and I'm like, I can fit that in.
Right.
Sure, I can do. And then it.
That does happen. And this happened when I was on this big project right now that they asked me to direct, and so we, you know, everything was like, again, I'm by the book. And so like, we'll be done like in 3 weeks and we're going to do X, Y, and Z. And we had like a very incredible team that was like, okay, on this day, we met all the Zoom calls, but then we had a monkey what is that, monkey thrown in the wrench?
Or something like that.
Wrench? I don't know. You know what I'm trying to say.
Monkeys are always messing things up.
Something anyway. something was thrown. A wrench was thrown. And I was like, wait, but I'm supposed to be on the next project. I'm supposed to be doing something else. And so it happened so that the editor got some type of paying gig and he was volunteering his services. So I ended up having to do 9 hours of footage of going through that and still trying to balance out, you know, other projects. And it was just a little overwhelming for me. But what I did do is I did that one task, got that done, you know, followed up on my other task. And then I took some serious self-care, because you can't function when your brain is like fried. But I really try not to overcommit, like, you know, have this, I'm running from this scene to this scene or to this project. I understand people want to keep working, but there's an importance about having a balance, because if you don't have a balance, and then you're burning out and you're not going to perform well on theater or stage. So I try not to be like hyperextend myself.
No, and that's a great thing that you bring up about self-care, because that's something that you just need to kind of schedule in. And I know I've made my self-care regime part of my acting, where it's like, yes, I'm going to go get my nails done, but I'm going to take scripts with me. I'm going to be memorizing, or I'm going to be reading plays or whatever, you know, that I'm utilizing that time, that 2 hours of whatever, of getting pampered to actually, you know, stretch my mind and make things work in terms of the career. But that time is just so valuable to me. My 2 hours at the friggin' nail salon are like my best 2 hours of the week, because I just get to relax and I get to shut everything off, and it's my time. And sure, I'm still trying to hone in my craft, but you know, it's just that time to actually take care of myself and my mental health as well. And if I do want to zone out and play video games on my phone, maybe I'll do that. It's up to me. So that's such a huge,
self-care,
huge part.
I don't bring any scripts. I might spend like 2 or 3 hours in the park, just walking in the park, sitting by the creek. You know, I might go get an 1.5-hour massage, but all of those things are relative when you're in this business, because it is such a high-paced, high-demanding business. I mean, you're going to get scripts left and right, especially when you're on demand. And you just have to make sure that you are taking care of yourself. If you're not, then it's definitely going to reflect. you're not going to be productive. So
yeah, absolutely. It's a good way to just kind of burn yourself out. And that's the last thing that you want to do, because I feel like that is when you end up kind of overcommitting yourself. And when you end up really stressing yourself is when you're not really being cognizant of your needs, and you're just kind of yes, 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 and all of a sudden you're completely overwhelmed. So it is being very cognizant of what you need and what's going to make you feel I guess at your optimal best, if you will, like for me, I have to be consistently working out, if I stop that, then everything starts getting out of whack, but I need those hours where it's just my time, and I'm focusing on me, and it makes me better able to handle all the stresses that come with being an actor. So yeah.
So let me ask you this.
Sure.
So what if you were in a lead in the play, and you did this audition, and they're about to open in about 3 weeks, and you just got offered a mini-series role on TV? How committed would you be to that play?
Right.
And it was a very nice, we don't get very much pay for, but just let's say it was a nice little thing. I mean, it was let's make it even more hard. You're already like 2 weeks in. It's a 9-week show, and you just got an offer, and they were like, "We need you right now." How committed would you be? What would you do?
That's a really
what
tough
would you do?
one. That's a really tough one.
Is it?
That's a really tough one.
Is it tough?
It is a tough one because
Really?
there's a lot of things that go into it. Do I have an understudy as this lead? Because that might
No
add
understudy.
to, no understudy. Are you going to leave that production company in a lurch? That's a really tough one.
So
You're
what would
the
you do?
lead. I probably would have to follow through with my commitment and put off this big miniseries offer because I already committed myself and dedicated myself to that role. And I can't imagine letting down a whole cast and a whole production for a selfish means, because it is selfish, at the end of the day. So you'd hope that you're being upfront and honest about your commitments and where your time is prior to even auditioning, so people know what you're working with, so they don't have the hopes that you can just drop everything and come in tomorrow, because that is on you as an actor and as a professional to make people aware of what you have going on and what your commitments are and where you might already have things. Because it's surprising when you're up front. Most people are ready and willing to work with you. You just need to be upfront about what's going on in your life. Because if they really want you, they're going to work with you. At least you hope. Right? Because there's a lot of people out there. She's out.
I'm leaving.
Screw you guys, I'm out.
You're getting a lead role on TV, a reoccurring role. Your salary is probably 10 times more than what you make on stage. I'm sure the stage manager will understand. I'm leaving. Well, we got to figure out how we can make it work that I could be there every weekend, but I'm leaving.
Yeah.
And it's not because I'm not being committed. It's just an opportunity knocked, and I had to come to crossroads, and it was a hard decision, and I think they would understand.
Yeah.
TV, stage.
Yeah.
TV, stage.
Yeah. And I honestly I stop auditioning. And this hasn't been an issue with me right now because, as you know, I got an agent while there was no theater. But when I get cast in a show for whatever that 6-week, not 3-week, or 3-month commitment is, I usually stop auditions. Just so I don't run into those scenarios. Because I'd rather, what's up?
You stop auditioning?
I stop auditioning until the production is at least about 2 weeks out. If I'm at 2 weeks of the run and we're almost done, we're almost ready to wrap, that's when I'll start looking for other work again. Just because, again, I don't want to be in that enticing situation. Now, I don't know what it'll be like when I'm in a production and I'm dealing with commercials and things like that as far as those auditions that'll be another road for me to cross. But right now, because again, like I've had mishaps and I've had things go wrong with overcommitting myself and being like, and I'm very much that shiny object kind of person. So for my own sanity and so that I'm not salivating or like, oh my God, I should have done this or should have done that. I just stopped the audition process for myself so I can be completely devoted. Absolutely.
Wow.
I don't even like Suicide Lies. I didn't audition for anything else until there was about 2 weeks left.
That was a
in the
long
production.
time.
It was a long time, but I also, I just like to give myself to that role.
Yeah.
And if I'm studying anything, I should be studying my lines for that play, not putting my attention everywhere else and focusing on everything else. And oh my God, now I have 6 more pages to memorize, but I should be memorizing my narration. So I just don't like to put myself in that position. So to me, that's a little bit more commitment on my end that maybe a lot of people don't go through. But if I've said yes to that role, I want to commit myself wholeheartedly to that character, to that production, to the team. Like I said, I don't want to let down my castmates. I don't want to let down my directors. I hold all those relationships really important. So
I think they're very important. I think for me, like once I've booked the role and I've memorized, we're talking theater though, right? Are you talking about auditioning for other theater or other?
We're talking about theater, but
or any projects. Oh, okay. So for me, like once I booked it and I'm committed, I'm still going to be open for auditions. 9 times out of 10, they're going to tell you when the film dates are.
Sure.
They may not be for months, but once you audition, it's especially for TV or film or whatever, it's done. It's out the window.
Sure.
I mean, for me, I could still be committed, but that is a very, very good process to be that dedicated to the role that you would, sacrifice any potential roles.
It's a hard decision to come to too.
It's definitely a very, very hard decision. Wow.
Yeah, do we really put off? Because I mean, both of us are extremely hungry. So and that's part of the thrill of the job, right? And that kind of thrill of the hunt and that kind of thing. So I remember when I came to that conclusion, no, I'm just going to dedicate myself to this, and this is what I got cast in, and that's where I'm going. But I felt proud of my work, and I felt proud of what I did, and I did like not having the distractions. I didn't like not spreading myself so thin, if you will.
And that can cause mishaps.
Yeah, absolutely. And you are. And I remember I went on vacation during that production, and I think I came back more off book than the rest of my cast, and I was kind of like, but it was because, again, I just kept my focus laser beamed on that role. And
so did you went on vacation during?
That was during Suicide Lives.
So during the
that
run?
was during rehearsal. That was during
probably
I don't know. We probably had 2 weeks to showtime because I know that was our off book deadline.
So did
I was out and came back and I was a little bit more off book than a lot of people.
So were you studying your lines on vacation?
Okay. But I was so into it already that they were there, and once I got back home, I was like,
you had that break and everything,
and I was just still like laser beam. This is the only thing I'm focusing on, and I don't think I would have been like that if I would have been looking at other things, because I can be fickle.
You just have that one flavor.
I remember.
This is my project right now.
Back in my teen years, I was a little fickle, like, ooh, he's cute too. Ooh, and look at, so now I dedicate myself.
One flavor. She's one flavor. One flavor.
One play girl. One play girl. One play kind of girl.
Yeah. So, commitments and dedications come, it's really your personal choice of how committed you are. Again, when we said in one of our previous episodes, just about how you want to pursue your career. There's so many different avenues, Being a vlogger, like, for me, would be overwhelming. They're pushing out videos every single day.
Sure.
That takes commitment. For me, I'm pushing out a video every now and then. Okay, that's cool. But that's their day job. That's what they do. That's not for me. So I can understand there's different commitment levels. Some people, they want to, be Instagram. They're pumping out pictures every day. Boom, 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 boom. That's a lot for me too.
Yeah, that's a lot for me too.
But putting out quality content that people can marinate on and just, that would be my type of commitment. That, like if we put something out here, especially on Actors from the Dark Side, it's something that's feasible for our audience.
Yeah, absolutely.
They're going to get something back.
Absolutely. And like you say, it comes and goes. Everything kind of has an ebb and flow, and people might just be in different areas of their life, you know, like again, I was saying earlier, my family is really important. Like I only have a couple more years where my daughter is going to be young and all of that, you know, she's slowly like every day becoming more of a woman. So, so those kind of things where it's like, there are precious moments that I want to enjoy. So I might not be totally like pushing myself to go out to LA or those kind of things, you know, where local projects are very appealing to me.
Yeah.
That's not going to be the way it's always going to be. So yeah, you know, things ebb and flow, and you know, you choose, or you get to choose how committed you are and how dedicated you are to the things in your life. But that's one thing that I'd say that acting has definitely helped me and has given me a lot of benefit in terms of just my character, is that I am that person that's more cognizant of how I commit myself, how dedicated I'm going to be, not just to my career, but to the people in my life, and you know, those types of things. So it makes you a better person, I think.
It does, and it you know, there's a lot of work-life balance when you're doing this business. Again, commitment is in all areas. You have, you know, your commitment to your spouse, commitment to your family, commitment to the team. You know, it's a lot of different levels and layers. You just have to find out what works best for you, because what may work best for you may not work best for me, because I'm going for that TV show. Well, what do you got? You got anything else for our audience?
I think that's it, you know. As LaDios always says, you know.
Remember to get up and get out and do something for yourself. I'm LaDios Muhammad, an actor with purpose.
And I'm Rav'n Moon, an actor with passion.
And we are actors from the dark side. Please like, share, and subscribe.